it's like a business plan, right? It's a guide.
Yeah.
Because the market drives everything. Your life drives everything. Your personal,
Well, your business plan's useless if you put the idea on the page and put it in the drawer.
Yep.
Like, it's not about what you're stuck on the page. It is about the nitpicking on it and going, well, can I fix something? It is going, well, that really worked.
What's the most expensive thing in our world right now? Time. So it's time to get it, and it's space.
You know, and you're also relying on people filing things correctly.
So, and I promise you, I've taken 2-3 years to do this. So I can talk and I love doing this shit, but this I struggled with until now. And I promise you will get to a point, you won't worry about any of this because we haven't got it like, you might have some lights, but we haven't got it all over you. I've had a couple of clients in here that there's no way in the world I thought they would have. Actually, that was my second, wasn't they? Adrian and his wife.
And they just let go.
Never. And he's like, I'm like, so what's your Roadblocks been over the years? Been a builder since 07, 08. His dad passed.
Yeah.
He started building with his dad. There was all this shit. I knew this because we're really close mates. And he's a client. And he's like, I haven't had too many Roadblocks. And then like by the end, he's like going back over his journey and I was like pulling it back to certain sections.
Yeah.
And then at the end, man, he rang me after and he's like, I am pumped. I'm going to the office. Didn't he? I was sitting in your office. Yeah. He's like, man, me and Frida love that. Like, they forgot all about this, and his wife was probably more standoffish than he was.
Yep.
But they both like got a lot out of it because you go back over your piece. So I'm not hitting a niche. I'm not hitting tradies. I'm not hitting insurance. It's the journey, risk, roadblocks, and resilience.
Yep.
And it's all about all your roadblocks through life. We can have all the wins, high fives, but you don't really grow out of that. And me and you talk about this a lot.
We've
and
had
this is
some
why I knew
brilliant
you'd
chats,
be.
yeah.
That's why every time I talk about this stuff, I knew you'd be good at this. And I said this to Mitch because you don't talk about it a lot, but if I bring something up, you've like, hey, I don't work on that, or I remember do you know what I mean? So I knew this will go well. And everything that I've been through the last 2 years, you've been very supportive as well, and you relate to a lot of it. So I'm like, Leon's going to be wicked. You've been in the insurance industry a lot longer than me. You've taught me a lot. I think I've brought a lot to the table. I think we bounce off each other well. And probably out of most people in your role, you've been really proactive on the comms. You know what brokers want, basically, right?
Yeah. Well,
and from an underwriting point.
Isn't that 101? Know your customer?
Yeah.
Like, just get on the other side, kind of, and a little bit get in their head, but understand what their needs are, understand what their drivers are, what motivates them. And if you can deliver some of that or provide a solution...
Yeah, exactly. What I'll do, what we're going to do is, if I can get this reel working. So, hey, where's that script? I just want to read this script. I'm going to read it to the camera, even though in the future I shouldn't, because I can't remember it word for word. But this is just to give you perspective. I think I sent it to you, didn't I?
I got your synopsis.
Yeah,
that's what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to go back to it. I actually want to read it out because. So, welcome to the journey: risk, roadblocks, and resilience. A space built on simple truth. Every one of us carries chapters, personal, business, and everything in between. Some chapters are messy, some are triumph, and some reshape us in the ways we never expected. But together, they form the story of who we are and who we're becoming. The podcast digs into the pivotal moments, the risks you took, the roadblocks you hit, and the resilience those experiences forged. Because success was never meant to be a destination. It's a journey, your journey, our journey. This is a journey. Let's turn the page. And something... So I really love that, and we've redone that a few times, but I'm just going to leave it as that if it evolves. But the reason it resonates with me is because I've always said there's no finish line. I think I had it on my Insta for a very long time. It's probably still there. And it's like, there is no finish line. Enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Enjoy the journey.
It's rare, from my experience, that the goal you have in your mind that you set out to is the goal you finish with. So to your point, there's no finish line. Somewhere along the way, that got changed.
Yep.
Somewhere along the way, you went, actually, I didn't like that. I want to build on that and grow further. Or I went, that's really shit. And you've done a full 180 on your pivot and you went, actually, no. And I think you learn the greatest things in life just by doing things wrong. Understanding a challenge and understanding how to get over it and get through it is where you learn your lessons.
So exactly what you just said there is a wicked convo because it's like a business plan, right? It's a guide.
Yeah.
Because the market drives everything. Your life drives everything. Your personal,
Well, your business plan useless if you put the idea on the page and put it in the drawer.
Yep.
Like, it's not about what you stuck on the page. It is about the micro tweaks.
And starting.
It is about the nitpicking on it and going, well, can I fix something? It is going, well, that really worked. Can we dial it up a little? That, like, what's the weakest link? And it might be that you're looking at it 100 times and you're like, you're starting to pick on the smallest things.
Why do you grow? Because you're 2 weeks into your business plan and you hit a roadblock. And then you've got to go, do I pivot because they don't want to buy that pen? Or the market says it's got to be a red pen, not a blue pen. So do you stick your head up your ass and go, but I read a business plan for 2 years, even though I only just started the business, because that's what happens, right? At the beginning. Or do I follow the market, pivot and grow and learn and go, hey, that's better because, do you know what I mean?
100%. And you see some people hit that first roadblock or a particularly big one, and you see the bit of a breakdown. I just want to go cry in a corner. I get it. I feel it.
Go to plan.
Been there. Look, do it. Go hard for a little bit, but know that that's very temporary. Pick yourself up on and okay, well, I can go over it. I can go through it. I can go around it. I could ignore it and go that way. There's 100 different things. A roadblock's temporary.
What is something we might talk about, because you've been a big part of me growing the last few years when you joined CBN in a different world. Like every state manager we had a regional business partner, part of our group, is everyone's different. So to get out of that bit that you just talked about, go around it, over it, through it, is what you do need, and don't, you shouldn't be like this closed in. Use the help you got around you, the environment, and you are who you hang around as well and you spend time with, and to help you make that right decision, because there's no right or wrong. You can probably do any of them and you're never going to know what the other way is.
I think it's much easier to identify the wrong decisions, but what's right can be right for one person and not right for another. And it's flexible. There's no one right answer. That there could be 20 different ways to do something. It's what fits for you.
Correct.
And it can be what fits for you at the time. And that's, this is something I was thinking about just last week, and it was probably off the back of one of the chats we'd had. Something can be the best choice and the best thing and the best decision at that time, but a year later, like you can have parked that and gone, that's perfect, and put it out of your mind, but relook at it, because you grow as an individual.
Timing is fucking everything.
Time is important in money, as in that, where it is and what debt's doing and things like that, the value of time, as well as to your own, personal development, growth in your business. So
just going on that there, timing of stuff like what you just said, like, and I've done it. I've wasted time, money, and everything on heaps of things. But then some of the things are actually happening now, or they might happen. Like we might have it planned for this year that I've been trying to. Like even this, I've been trying to do this for 2-3 years. But timing's everything, right? Because you've got to be in the right mindset. Everything around you's got to go. I've got to learn to slow down and focus more, and delete, add back in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just on that though, I'm trying to be vulnerable as I can in these, and like these obviously these are the first few podcasts, right? So instead of trying to prep this all perfect, I'm actually going to say I haven't got shirts made yet. And while we're on here, this is going to be my makeshift journey shirt. Where do I put it, Mitch?
Left of your heart.
There, right there, the red on the heart. All right, so cool. All right, so there's my journey shirt and branding. I think Nat's got them getting ordered. Early days, I'm going to look back on this in 5 years ago. Remember when I put a sticker on my shirt?
Yeah. And it was like, go back to putting a sticker on your shirt.
I might still be doing it in 5 years. Can you order me like 1,000 stickers?
I just needed the honest and raw, and every time someone walked in, I made them place the sticker.
All right, so what I want to do is probably intro you a little bit. I'm going to jump on your LinkedIn here. I know that you're with CHU Underwriting. I know your cousin's John Elliott. I actually don't mind mentioning him because I wouldn't mind actually doing this with him one day, because he's probably the leader in it, in business insurance and being outside the box and doing the personal thing.
Right. So family plug done.
Yeah, family plug done. And you know what? It's actually really cool. As much as, we're competitors and all that stuff, we've always tried to catch up. I really respect all the brokers in the industry. And then
on that, I really love the industry for that kind of friendly rivalry. I've always said, the fact that our industry is full of events, it is full of that social element and business crossover, that it feels like you're doing a family barbecue sometimes with family. It
does. Whether they're blood or not blood.
Correct. Your biggest rival is also a friend or something 100%. Like that. So I think it's such a dynamic and fun, competitive space to be in.
You need competitors. It's what makes you competitive. It makes you grow. That's the great thing about CBN, actually. Like, I don't know how many brokers got. I always say 35. We got more than that now in WA, or about 35.
Oh, well, we've got a few.
Yeah,
a few more coming.
Let's say about there. Yeah, we probably won't touch on that this one,
Yep.
but say that I always say 30 to 35. Right, that's all the number I remember. Now, I've been pretty involved with a lot of the brokers, probably more 2 years ago than now. I'm getting back into it, but I love working with them, even though we're competitors. And it's very rare that we actually see each other's clients cross over. And even if we do, we're like, hey man, one of your clients, are they a pain in the ass? Are they going to move if you lost a relationship, or are they just quoting? Because obviously I've got a lot of integrity and loyalty, right? Big time.
Yep.
And, there's Franz, which I actually want to bring Franz on here. I'd love to get other brokers on this because Franz has got a wicked journey. There's Kirsten, there's Doug, everyone's got a different journey. And I've learned so much off them because a lot of these brokers have been doing a lot longer than me. Like I'm coming up 10 years in March, right? And the relationships we got and bouncing off each other. I actually had Kirsten message me the other day, and she's like, incoming letter of appointment for builder's warranty, because we're one of 2 brokers that do it in the whole group. And she goes, but don't touch nothing else. And I'm like, Kirsten, I wouldn't do that. So we always have a joke about it, but the trust there is like exceptional.
Well, we have amazing, extremely talented, skilled people all over the place.
Yep.
And it's, selfishly from my perspective, it's really enjoyable to work with people that are doing very different niches. It adds a lot of variety to my life, my day, and, it's the years go quick now.
And like Kirsten's other half, better half Kirsten, I don't know if you like that or not, but Brian, he comes from the internationals, and I didn't know him that well, but I always lean on him with the bigger stuff, and he's always like, man, I'll just and even last year when I was going through a bit of a hard time and didn't know what I was going to do next, and I went and chatted with him, and he's like, man, anything you need help with, like that there, being a competitor, but we're in the same group, and we bend over backwards for each other and do whatever we can, that's pretty cool. And what that does is you grab CBN, and it actually gives a lot of value to CBN having these kind of people in it, which is fantastic, right? And you get to see it from a different perspective because you're not broking. You're looking after all of us. You're the connection, right, between us, the state, and leadership, training, the management, and the whole lot of CBN. And I think that's a huge credit to CBN as well, and all the brokers. Yeah. All right, let's jump on you, eh? You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, so
hang on, real quick. I promised to chuck the disclaimer in, so obviously,
go for it, man.
Do the
corporate
company disclaimer gig. We have to. As much as we talk about CBN, and that's how we know each other. We met, near on 10 years ago.
We did
through the industry, and we've worked much closer together for the last 3. Obviously, it's great to be here. We've had some wonderful chats, but all the thoughts and all the opinions and all the things I say today, disclaimer voice, you see, are obviously mine and not the company's.
Yep.
And that said, look, we've got those skilled people, dynamic and really genuinely kind of sharing and caring people. So
yep.
You can't really say anything wrong.
So if you accidentally say something you're not meant to, just tell us to cut it. We probably won't cut it. We'll probably ask for forgiveness after. But just let Mitch know, because me, I usually say how it is, and I do upset some people sometimes.
If you get me sacked, it's only going to deficit you.
Do you want a job? All right. He doesn't want a job. He wants to stay in the corporate world. He's in his comfort zone.
Oh, look, I enjoy the one I've got, mate.
Yeah. No, I know you do, man. We talk about that a bit, actually, so it's good. And that was a joke, CBN. All right, so CBN, you've been with them 3 years and a bit. Before that, you're part of the Achievers Club. I don't know about that, so we'll talk about that, actually.
Sure.
Okay, cool. That's really cool. Before that, CHU, I think that's where I met you originally. You were with CHU, doing the strata property insurance. You can tell us a bit about that in a minute. Before that, and this is from mine and your last 2-3 years chat, I didn't realise you were cousins with John, blah, 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 but you helped him kick off the tradies thing in the beginning. I think you're in the garage. I think there's a little bit there. I could be wrong, right?
Look, many a thought and business thought, and it's funny about it, insurance, and all those ideas come usually with a drink in hand.
Yep.
And later into the evening, and look, I find
that's a polite way of saying it.
It really is. Look, dabble through, but I think that's the same with anything. I don't think that's unique to this industry. I think maybe you see it a bit more, the opportunities a bit more, and you've got to kind of curve it. But ideas come to you in the shower. Ideas come to you when you're driving. Ideas pop up at the weirdest times. It's how you collaborate and what you do with them later. And I was living with John for a little bit as he grew and developed his business further. So the amount of crossover business and social things that was constant. And extremely important to
at the beginning, especially.
Well, yeah, at the beginning especially, always throughout, you probably need to check yourself a few times and those moments or that balance because it's important for business. It's great for inspiration and ideas, but you can get lost in it or you can push into things too hard.
So can I just touch on the whole? I will jump in here and here because obviously there's a time thing, but I really hit some nuggets and obviously we know each other, but I'm going to have a question. And then I'm going to drop a hint of what I think it is. So the question is, what did you get out of working with John early days when you were banging heads and, strategizing and all that stuff? Obviously, you're different people and you've gone on different paths, but there would have been some nuggets from there. And something you're very good at now is when I throw a problem at you or, hey, can we find a solution? You're pretty proactive on it.
That's 100%. And, a lot would be to confidential to his business and
of course.
and my uncle and the relationship John has with his dad and what they bounce around. There's so much value there. So I think where you've got people around you that you trust and bouncing an idea around, it can only enrich it.
I think with early days in business also, when you're kicking off or ideas are coming and then you're like, F it, we're going to do it. What I learned, and I think one of my biggest strengths was learning small business, family business, and then going to corporate and mixing it. And you've actually done very similar, right? And I think I found the balance. And that's what I mean. Early days, because when we'll go along your journey, early days you learn that make it happen shit. Find the resource, like make it happen. Like there's no like whinging or can't do this. It's like when you're in that hungry stage.
Oh, look, there's plenty of whinging and there's plenty of can't do this, but you almost need to do a number on your mind and go, look, it's do or don't. You've really got to pull things down to pick yourself up and just do it. And then you find you thank yourself for it later. And to your question, or you snuck in there and go back a little, the big thing I learnt when I jumped in and I worked with John was what the insurance industry was about. It was that pulling the curtain back.
Cool.
So quite honestly, I still saw the broker gig as that sleazy car salesman thing.
I did when I first seen it as well.
And I didn't want a part of it. And working in doing some temp work and getting to see that in overwhelming amount of cases, you were genuinely trying to help someone. You were genuinely trying to support them. You are providing them advice or kind of ideas around stuff that is completely foreign to them. So it is that level of customer service, explanation, and
so
kind
did
of
it prove you wrong, or did you, or it could be a mix of this, did you prove it wrong, or did you try and shift and change the stereotype?
Look, it added, the stereotype's there for a reason, but it showed me that isn't the norm, and it showed me that there is so much more
it's an outside
to
view.
it, and that is, the majority. So
just on that, I started, 10 years ago. When I come in the industry, I remember writing this down. I could probably find it somewhere. And my biggest piece was, even when I started with a business partner in 2016, it was like, imagine changing the industry. Because I come from a totally different industry, operations, hands-on, and then corporate. And I'm like, imagine changing the industry, because it was old school, still printing off bits of paper, tick and flick, no transparency, no tech. And it's because what I worked out in the industry's defence is they're big beasts. QBEs, your CGU, all the systems. You can't just shift with the world that quick.
Very big, expensive, slow wheels to turn. And it's funny you should say that, because that is one of my pivotal memories. So I'd come from retail, hospitality. I had worked as a kind of multi, store manager and I was looking at the ordering, so you'd be on a tablet or you'd be doing this stuff and you could pull up a report that was basically live. You could really kind of drill into the marketing or the what next and the stock of entry. So this is kind of what I'm used to on a day-to-day, really quick, really agile. And when I did, and I landed a job in the brokerage, so it was piles of paper and June 30, right up to your shoulder on desks.
Literally
and that,
paper.
That manic rush, literally paper. But that wasn't the shock. It was when I did move to CHU and I first started, and it was compactus. So I'd never seen a compactus before, let alone rows and rows in a room that was buckling the floor. And the idea that you pick up the phone, you've got someone there and you're like, no worries, I'll just get your file. And you're looking, and for those that don't know, a compactus is basically a really big bookshelf on wheels. And it's multiple of them that squeeze in together. So you slide these wheels along, you look for what you want, and you slide the wheels back so that they can stack more bookcases.
And just on that, what's the most expensive thing in our world right now? Time. So it's time to get it, and it's space.
Oh, look, that's... and you're also relying on people filing things correctly. So
time.
You if you found the file and it wasn't on somebody's desk, and it was filed correctly, and it hadn't
all these variables
slightly sideways because spelling or numbers got a little hard, then you had to hope there was something in the file.
Fucking hell! So it was all against you.
Well, yeah, look, 100%. You've got someone on hold on the phone, or you said you call them back. You've spent 20 minutes looking for a file. You finally find it, and in there is their last renewal.
How's the industry changed? Eh?
And I'm like, well, I'd love some file notes. I'd love something else to go with it.
Yeah.
And I jokingly said to someone just last week, I do remember that feeling, and you're speaking to a customer and they're assuming you know everything about them as the insurer. And yeah, look, I have no doubt we've asked you this question before, but you don't understand. I'm looking at a blinking cursor on a screen and there's not a damn thing here. So, please just forward me something and let's work through this together.
So that's where me and you are a bit similar. I love that story actually, like let's count on the abacus kind of thing. But last 10 years has probably been the biggest shift with tech and processes and workflows in insurance. And I know me personally, it has been as well. I've always tried to improve, and I spent a lot of time and money and probably wasted a lot. But I reckon I've got to a certain benchmark. But it's not, obviously it's not just me. I think everyone with the socials and the world being so transparent, everyone trying to improve business, and we've got to. It's a fast-paced world. I think our generation is the biggest generation shift from analog to digital in any aspect, personal, business, insurance, mining, you name it, any industry. I think we're lucky that we're in this shift because our kids aren't in it and our generation before aren't in it. Really, we're it, right? Now, I still whinge some weeks about fucking tech and how old school. But then you go get a story from like you, and you've been in the game a lot longer than me, the insurance industry. And it's like, we've come a long way in 10 years, right?
Yeah.
It's a great industry. I think we've got rid of the car salesman stereotype. Right? I think we've gained more value in the industry, and that comes back to the way we do stuff, the way we approach the people skills, the way we do compliance now, and also the way we charge as well. There's a lot of discussion around commission fees and all that, and it's about valuing ourselves, right? And the way the direct market's changing in insurance. Like, I don't know, any of this here, if you want to touch on, go for it, man.
Look, I think it's about expressing ourselves, and I think there's more to come. And to your point, what's happened in the last 10 years in the industry is a lot, and I love the challenge of a journey. I still think it's behind the times when you compare it to another industry, particularly.
But look where it was.
But imagine where it'll be in the next 10.
I'm excited for the roadmap moving forward. Every year I say this, right? And it gets better and better because when you're in an industry that has so much opportunity for growth or evolution or tech or improvement, the great thing about that, it can't go backwards.
Well, so you're there for the roadmap. I'm there for what's not on the map. I'm there for that challenge no one's thought of yet.
Yep.
And
Awesome.
fixing that.
Yep.
So you like the map, I like the block.
Yep.
So where your roadblock's there and someone's gone, well, that's unbreakable. I'm like, oh, bet.
Okay. All right. Now you've brought that up, right? So we hit roadblocks, we take the risk, and then we build the resilience, right? This is what this podcast is all about. And everyone's got it, whether it's personal, business, the career, it could be anything, right? Or in the future. Now, you just mentioned roadblock. So you're with Elliot, you kicked off, all that kind of stuff. And then 10 years ago, a bit over 10, you joined CHU. So between working with John at the beginning and him going on his path and you going on yours and going, I don't want to broke anymore at the moment, your mindset, You jump over to CHU, you obviously learn a different world. You go to the underwriting.
So
Tell me the biggest
I knew nothing
roadblock.
about Strata when I got in there. And look,
Is that your roadblock?
Well, look, most of my roadblocks are myself. But I'm also my own best friend when it comes to it. Yesterday, Leon's a godsend. Every now and then you dust something off out of the drawer and like, that's written really well, and I forgot I did that. We can use that.
Timing.
So when I first landed that job, and underwriting there, I didn't know anything about Strata. I saw all these people, and I was suit and tie every day to work. And
What were they wearing? Same or?
Some suit and tie, some,
It started the shift
dressed.
10 years ago, didn't it?
It did. But for me, I'm looking around, I'm like, these guys, know it inside and out. They've been doing it much longer than me. So there was that whole imposter syndrome. Plus, I was asking for feedback, and I'm like, is this good enough? Should I be putting more through? Should I know more? And I really wasn't getting anything at that time. So that
you mean feedback from others or yourself or getting work or
team leader, manager, am I was looking for that,
validation?
Well, yeah, just to know that I'm not shit.
Progress.
Am I doing what you're expected?
How old were you then?
And I wasn't getting anything from it. I keep forgetting how old I am. About 30.
Yep, cool.
Early 30s.
Yep, nice.
And because I didn't get that, I then took it on myself to make sure I was ticking all the boxes. So I took the Strata Titles Act home, the PDS, and everything else I could find. And I read them cover to cover, front to back twice. And stuff just stays in my memory. So for me, I understood the policy. I understood the competitors' policies very well from there. And as far as the legislation, I'd actually read the 85 Act. What I hadn't read is the amendments, the 92 amendments that came out later. So I didn't realise this until like 6 months later, and I'm like, oh, crap. So I went and actually read the current version of the Act, which redacted half the stuff that I'd just put to memory. But then 7 months into having freaked out, am I good enough, to later, I understood the last 30 years of the legislation because I read it and then read what they'd changed in it in the 90s. And you could feel this whole evolution of what was happening, where the industry had gone and trended. And then I started looking at that in more detail and taking on extra things and then looking at how that differed across other states. So look, my freaking out going, maybe I'm not good enough.
Self-judgment.
And we've all got it. We've all got that voice in our head.
We just spoke about this last night.
If I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't have done the things I did to then become the guy you call.
Okay, there you go. There's the nugget. So it's easy to self-reflect now, but when you're in your 20s and start of your 30s, and depending what you're talking about, if you're starting a new skill or experience, and we talk. Actually, it wasn't last night. It was this morning in our morning chat. I was on a walk at about 6:30, and me and Mitch were on for about half an hour. And probably one of the biggest topics was that self-judgment. This guy's on podcasts and on content all the time, and really he started talking to me, and I called him out. Actually, I'm like, no, man, I reckon that was your own self-judgment there. And I see him as like the media guy, all that. But we've all got it, like you just said, right?
We're our own worst critics. Way more than we're our own advocate.
The moment you pull that out of your head, and it comes back, it depends, because when you're fresh at something again, that's usually when it's there, the judgment. But if you can get rid of it and be conscious and intentional and go, that's me stopping me, no one else. You get rid of it and it just takes the weight off your shoulders.
I don't think you need to get rid of it, but you need to understand it. It's healthy to have a bit of both.
Put it to the side at the time.
Well, just know it for what it is.
Yeah, good call.
It's okay to be nervous. Thanks for
means you
popping
give a
my
fuck.
podcast cherry. This is the first time I've done this.
Awesome.
There's cameras, there's lights. Just it shouldn't stop you from doing it. But acknowledge that, hey, maybe that's, you don't expect to be able to do something perfectly.
Popped his cherry.
Thanks, it was emotional. You can't be an expert at something that you haven't done before. And there's always going to be a first time for doing something. And you're going to make mistakes. Know that. Own it. But it's what you do with that. And, and the whole boxing thing, or you're always, it's how many times you get up or whatever analogy you want to have. You've just got to understand that mistakes will happen. They're not necessarily a bad thing. That's where you learn. Tweak it and try again.
Give us Give us, so you were CHU 10 years. You obviously learned a lot there. It was probably your biggest block in the industry, I'm guessing at the moment, right? Maybe in the years to come, you've probably might have been with CBN longer, but at one place, it would have been a big learning curve for you. You would have been a lot different from when you started to when you end. So probably in that 10 years, is there, and you don't have to, obviously, but is there a roadblock or a big risk you took personally in that journey or even outside it, actually, to be honest? What comes to mind?
Oh, look, plenty. And the career before that was another 10-year plus stint.
It was, yep.
So I've done a couple of those. I've never taken my long service leave. I've earned it in 2 jobs now and had it sitting there and then been paid out as I switched jobs. So
Yep.
Maybe the next one I'll actually take my long service leave. But look, heaps. You evolve as a person, as a journey. There was definitely hard times, and there was a lot that happened in that business, and that evolved as I was in it. There was heaps that happened personally as well. You go through different relationships. You move house. You go through people dying around you and those kind of things.
So one thing I do know about you is, and actually when I separated with my wife, I think you around similar time separated with a partner at the time. You don't have to touch on this too much. But so we had a bit in common then. I think we chatted about it. It wasn't exact, but I know I was going through my shit and
Similar timing.
You asked about it and then you were like, fuck, I'm going through the same thing. And really I think what was similar is it just wasn't working. And we actually had a chat about this and it was like, you kind of know it might be coming, so it's on the cards, and then you're trying to make the best decision for them and yourself in the end, you know. And there's always other stuff to it under the surface, but that was a really good chat I remember having with you. But go back, something I don't know. Where were you born and where'd you grow up?
Okay, born here in Perth. Grew up in Scarborough.
Oh, you did grow up in Scarborough.
So
okay, that was my backyard for a while. Woodland, Scarborough.
Definitely my backyard for a while.
Yeah, wow.
So grew up there.
How long for? When did you move from Scarborough and where'd you go to?
Kind of danced around a little bit.
Yep.
So, Scarborough, Innaloo, Balcatta, Chewett Hill.
Fuck, I know. They're all in my backyard.
I was City Beach for a little bit. And then, kind of went further north. I was Kalgoorlie for a while. So,
how long did you go to Cal for?
Near on 5 years. So I was
5 years.
running liquor stores there. I'd said no several times to going there. And eventually I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I'd said, yeah, I'll go for 2 years. 2 years became 3, 2 years became 4, and then I'm like, I've got to go.
So tell me, this is really cool because usually Kalgoorlie, what I resonate with is mining, transport, and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
Diggers and dealers and fucking the gold bar and whatever else. But going, you went and managed liquor stores. What was your biggest challenge and what was your biggest learning and win? Being there 5 years, you would have had a roller coaster there a bit. But it would have built a lot of resilience in you in a different aspect. You're not in the city. You grew up in Scarborough. It's a big difference.
Well, I mean, look, the first 6 months was hard because it was a relocation package. Didn't know anyone there. So you got your house, car, you sent there and you kind of sent to clean it up. So it was, basically having to get in there, fix up a place. A lot of staff turnover. So you're moving people on. Rehiring and that.
How many people were at the liquor store?
Look, there was a few, but it basically had to get in there, clean slate, and do the
become
job.
more efficient.
And in a new town or in moving or leaving your kind of friend groups, that's hard anyhow. And Cal and wind back the clock can
so you would have been a bit
particularly
lonely.
brutal. Oh, absolutely.
Because you've just left your friends and your environment and all your support that you grew up with, and then you're like, I'm on my own. But what did that do for you? What was the outcome of that? Would have built you?
Look, I'd learnt resilience long before that, but it just keeps reminding you. So, being lonely or being challenged is just something you need to work through. And sometimes that means, find new friends, go out there, go do what you do, work on. And it can be, particularly something like that. It's your personal brand. It's, your reputation. What are you putting? What are you doing about it? So you're like, oh, I want this, or I don't have that. Cool. You can bitch all you like, but what are you gonna do about that?
Yep.
And so
your social skills would have evolved because of different dynamics, different kind of people.
Would you believe I'm an introvert? I've just been doing sales for a really long time, so. Didn't say it's comfortable, but get there
You
through
evolve
practice.
through it, yeah.
You know, whether
So
it's
you're
public
really quiet
speaking
before.
or you
I
get
probably
on
do
stage.
believe that actually. Like, you definitely find when you're comfortable when you meet and when you know someone, but it probably wouldn't surprise me a bit. But so what was the big shift for you when you started to, like, maybe go, fuck it, I'm just going to talk more or intro myself more, or where was it?
You don't give yourself a choice. I mean,
True.
I remember as a kid. So Dad had a butcher store. So as a kid, and we're still talking primary school age, and particularly Saturdays, he would have left God knows what in the morning to open up the shop and start prepping and everything. I think I was getting up at 5, 6. I was riding my bike from Scarborough to Swanbourne.
Wow.
And then you'd work a Saturday with him. So you kind of clean up boy, your marketing, your whatever.
Yep.
And that had a customer service element to it. I had serving customers. Yeah, cool. You can be uncomfortable, but go
How
ask
old were
that
you?
guy what he wants. I don't know. Like,
Roughly.
don't tell the tax department it was absolutely illegal and child labour.
So you're learning.
I was still in primary school. Then,
How cool is that? So this is the whole point of the journey, right? Is like, until you sit here and have the convo and go back and reflect over everything. Way back then, even, like, we know it does, but we just take it for granted. But you're highlighting a single point. I worked at a butcher's from when I was 14, 9 months till about 16, right? They are the maddest fucking industry. Probably changed a bit now. They're mad as cut snakes, especially out the back. Now, you want to learn how to fucking interact and socialise. I think, now you said, I've never thought about this.
They are not a good example of how to interact and socialise.
No, but talk about open you up and build resilience. Butchers back then, 20 years, unbelievable, right? And I never really thought about that, and it's probably a bit similar to me, but you're just talking about a piece when you went and worked for your dad, you got up early, you rode to Swanbourne from Scarborough, and you had no choice, but you had to go. Your dad's like, go and ask, go and do this. So it started way back then, not just, joining CHU and doing sales. Or,
of course.
Yeah.
Well,
how cool.
Like, it's never about what someone sees right now. You've had a life you've built and lots of little experiences that go into that.
Yep.
And look, that's what I love about the job I do right now. Because if I had have gotten insurance earlier or something like that, I wouldn't have half the skills I've got that I actually bring to this role.
Yep.
So, yeah, look, I feel like I've picked up an eclectic bunch of different things, but just running businesses, different experiences, different hardships, usually, and working through them, overcoming them, or your way of thinking, or self-reflection, or that doubt moments, and how many times have you held the mirror up and looked in,
Hold the mirror up
and do a rebuild or an understand, so that you know what levers to pull, and to that point, business and yourself, like, take it apart, look at it, know what all the little bits are.
Yeah.
Because if you don't take that time to analyse it, reflect and change, you're changing things blindly, or you're ignoring massive chunks and the dumpster fire of an elephant in the room.
Yeah.
The one that everyone else can see, but you're like, la, 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 no. Super important to be raw enough with yourself, and whether that's your business,
Hold a mirror up, man.
Or you personally, get in there.
Every day, actually. I don't know if I'll ever do it. I've only just got the podcast, but I'd love to do a book, right? And it comes back, it's the personal stuff, it's the growth and reflection and all that, right? And I reckon there's a lot I got to give. But the reason on the podcast is because other people got heaps to give, right? And I learn a lot from it. But I always think of book names, and the only one that really sits with me is Hold a Mirror Up.
Okay.
Right? And no one knows that. He doesn't. I
come
never
from
talk
a
about
very
this.
different place. Everything I think of has got a pun, and it's probably horribly inappropriate.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that'll make the best business name.
That's cool. That's cool. I like it. But we're all different, right? And that's what makes the world go round now. And that's what will resonate with this podcast. We're going to make sure we're consistent. That's why this guy's kicking my ass to get enough under the belt before we launch on 1st of Feb. The reel I just put up, dude, I locked the date in. So you actually don't have a choice now, and either do I. Someone said to me before one day, and it's really fucking cool, is like, if you go look at a car park, what do you see?
Probably cars and bitumen.
Yeah. What colour are the cars?
In my mind?
No, when you look out of the car park, what colour are they?
They can be mixed.
Okay. What kind of cars?
A little bit of everything.
Okay, that's what makes the world go round, right?
So there's
'Cause we're all
diversity
different.
in your car park, is there?
In every car park, right? Go to a shopping centre. Yes, they might be fucking mostly Teslas these days or Camrys, but the point of it is, someone said to me one day, is like, look out there at the car park. We need every kind of different people, and that's when you start to realise that. Yeah, like my 2 words is consistency from last year, but it's perception this year. I'm adding it on, right?
Yep.
So I got halfway through the consistency piece last year. I didn't nail it, and I'm okay with it, actually. I was kicking my own ass at the end of last year, but it's like where I come from, I actually probably got 50% on the barrier that I visually see, but I wanted to add another word on for this year, and it's perception or perceive, right? Because when you understand that, it stops you being probably so blinkered, and I don't think I'm that blinkered, but we all got a piece of it, whether it's ego, blinker, or my way or the highway, or, hey, but this is my experience and I know this happens this way.
Yep.
But the moment you go, we're all different, and no matter, I might be right, but you see it different. And my
100%.
life coach last year actually taught me this. She's
But
like,
I would disagree with your statement. You said
Yeah, okay.
we need diversity in our customers, in our clients. I would argue you need diversity in your business. I agree
with that.
It reminded me of someone I worked with at CHU, brilliant guy, really smart, and he said, look, if I hired nothing but Irish blokes like myself, I'd have a great time. We'd all be drinking beer, be a wonderful company, but it wouldn't be half the things it is because these people have different perspectives, different ways of life. It is, multiple different and sometimes competing and arguing, and sometimes it's
that's
that
what makes
debate
it
that comes
it's
out.
like having a competitive broker.
Because you find a better way to do it.
Yep.
Well, we're both butting heads, and maybe that's an impasse.
healthy
and then,
as fuck.
Then you find a third option. So if everyone was exactly the same, and if everyone agreed with you, you wouldn't be
That's
anywhere
what I'm saying.
near what
I
you
said
can
the
be.
world, not business. I said,
Yeah,
you look at a
100%.
car park, we need all different people in the world, whether it's people that want to be process workers, or not everyone can be a manager, not everyone can be a leader, not everyone can be a fitter, we need that change. And that's what I mean. That's the analogy from the car park. We're all different.
Correct.
And because I believe everyone should be happy when they get out of bed in the morning, they should do what gets them out of bed in the morning. Now, what gets you out of bed?
If you're not enjoying it, stop doing it.
Correct. 100%, mate.
And the point I disagreed with your clients is you want to understand all the different customers and all their diversity, but you don't need to be something for everyone.
Yeah, correct.
Like, know what you want to do.
Yep.
Know what you're good at.
Yep.
Know what you don't like doing.
Yep.
And if you don't like doing it, why are you chasing that for a client or a customer?
Yeah, that's great. And talk about the adversity bit and the challenge and the disagreement. And me and you are good at this, actually, and this is why I love our relationship. Like, if something goes wrong or I'm not happy, I'll just ring you and go, Leon, what the fuck is going on? Like, and then you'll go, man, but I...
The first 30 seconds... No. The first 30 seconds are getting you off a ledge, channeling your energy and calming you down enough to understand what the fuck you're talking about, and then we go into problem-solving mode.
But you bang on, right? You're good at it. Me and you know each other well, right? So we can probably say anything we want, and it's never personal, right? It's like... But the key to that, what I was saying is, you still will not go, oh, okay, Paul, and keep me happy because I'm one of your brokers. You would go, Paul, the reason this happened is because of this. I disagree with this, but I see where you're going with this. Now, that there is...
Don't be afraid to say no.
Correct.
Sometimes it can't be done.
Yep.
Don't break yourself trying to do something that's impossible.
And usually I come back and challenge you still and go, man, I fucking think it could be done. And then a week later, I'll probably come to you with my tail between my legs and go, Leon, you're right, it couldn't be done.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. And I think they're good traits by people, by humans in general, right?
It's the old game of tennis.
Yeah.
And look, sometimes we find a middle ground in there and actually, that's not possible, but maybe this part is. So let's take this a little bit, explore it a bit further and go on.
Go back to perception or perceive.
Bible.
You see it different. You're in a different role. You see all the brokers. I'm in my world. So then when you bring reality to me and you're like, Paul, this is not going to fucking work because we're talking structure recently, right? Over a couple of things I won't go into, but it's like, you're like, that can't work, Paul, but this can.
That's where
they're
you
the combos.
sense check. Where you've got trusted people around you and different trusted people around you, and you can sense check something between them and they'll tell you, yeah, I don't care, it works for me. Oh, no, that won't work for X, Y, Z. Or that, did you think about that? And like, no, I never thought about that. Why would I think about that? That's what enriches it. That's where you've got a little more safety to tweak that design before your neck's on the line with it and you're throwing it out there half-assed.
Something I want to touch on, risk. So you've no doubt had some roadblocks. If anything pops up, any significant, let me know further than what you already have. But the risk I want to know, when you went from CHU to CBN, and I actually remember talking to someone in our group about when they advertised the role and they said they're chatting to you. What was the risk and how much of a risk was it? Was it easy? Was it hard? The jump, because let me expand on it a little bit more. This is one of the biggest things people struggle with in their career until they do it once or twice. They jump. They're too scared. But I think the days of being in the same job for 30 years are gone, right? But you're kind of cultured and trained when you're young, stability, security and all that. But these days, I believe, go and fucking try. 20s and 30s, go and try. Move on. So the jump, how was it?
Look, we'll get into the jump in a little bit.
Okay.
But first, I kind of want to take my tact on your statement there. So I think there is absolutely still value in staying with a business long term.
Yep.
For as long as you can.
Just not as common.
But it's a two-way relationship. Do get out there and look around. But doing things is the only way you're going to learn.
Would you agree that it's not survival anymore, security? It's loyalty and staying there if it makes you happy.
Yeah, correct.
That's the difference.
And it's middle ground.
Yeah.
You do see someone that'll jump around from a job every 6 months, and that still has a bad look.
Red flag.
But
balance.
If you're a couple of years in a role and you're taking something out of it and you're building on yourself, or you've realised actually you've tried something and that wasn't for you, and you've then taken a move, or you found something that's good for you.
Doesn't gel.
Do it. Build on yourself. That's part of this industry. It's really, really, everyone knows each other as soon as you get out there, and there's opportunities all around, and it's about finding what's right for you and a good fit business wise. So I'm gonna back to the move I made. I wasn't looking for a job. I wasn't looking to move. The timing was really right because I was working on a few national projects and some other things, and I'd just wrapped those and some other bits and pieces, and the clients I was working with and everything was quite solid and smooth. So as much as
were you in your comfort zone though?
No, I'm my own worst enemy for comfort zones. I overload myself, freak out, work out how to make it more efficient, create a gap, and then make up a new project and jam it in there and compete, repeat that cycle. I'm a bit of a dick. But I'd done that and I'd stretched the role a lot, quite honestly. And I was, into marketing and compliance and different things that weren't typically that role.
You're doing that to self-growth, right? Like you love learning new stuff. You love trying to problem solve and all that kind of stuff, like what you said 100%. Earlier. Yep.
It's my own worst enemy.
It's not, hey, I get paid this, 9 to 5, I'm a minute, it's a minute before knockout. Like, you're not that guy, right?
It's good for me, it's good for the company.
Yeah.
But where I'd moved, like I knew the company, I knew what was being asked. I'd known it since it was the companies it was previously and for some time. So, and look, in the back of my head, and they don't know this, but it's somewhere I'd thought of working before. Like that had entered my head years before. I hadn't done anything about it.
Yeah, when it was Westcourt and...
Yeah, well, even, when it was Westcourt or NAS or even in its infancy, like I'd already looked at that business and knew it and go, well, actually, in my head, that's somewhere.
Well, it had a bit of a journey back from Jeff. I joined Westcourt originally back in 2017, I think, or end of 16. And they've had a wicked journey, and they're the leaders in the industry when you want to talk vehicle group, AR network, and it wouldn't be silly that you thought about it before, but timing's everything, and things happen for a reason.
Well, yeah, look, I got quite the heads up that the role might become available, and I'm talking more than 6 months, and I said, still not looking, but maybe ask me when it does. Happy to be considered, and it's just understanding what I do on the daily. It's just such a great fit for the weird stuff and skills I've collected along my life journey. It's like,
is that more because of the different type of brokers or internal or a bit of both?
No, most of it's got nothing to do with insurance.
Yeah,
it's the skills I picked up, doing OH&S or risk or the level of HR or managing people and different things or the stuff I just learnt running a business or different businesses or things in my life. So very little of it was insurance. And that's why I said earlier, if I'd got into insurance earlier and done X, Y, Z, sure, God knows where I'd be, but I also wouldn't have those other skills I brought to the table because I wouldn't have had that opportunity to learn them. So, I just saw it and I understood the role. I understood what I could do with it, and I understood how, that the synergy of what I've got would go to that. So,
yep, that's cool. And what was the transition like? How much notice you give the previous job, the new job, and then how long did it take you to really set in? Like, was it a few months with CBN and the new role?
I gave plenty of notice. I gave 2 months notice. I think we ended up. I think they were talking. Oh, we'll let you go in a week. We'll do gardening leave, and then I'm like, "Have you seen my calendar?" And they're like, "Oh, okay, right." And we found somewhere in the middle, and I think working about 6 weeks out.
Do you know what? Just on that, right? That's a credit, right? Because when you go bigger companies, they do go garden leave and everything. And trust me, 90% will do that, right?
100%.
Now, the only time they don't is when you're a good person.
Look, I also
not just
wasn't
about the
leaving
workload.
to a competitor. So
Yeah.
I'm not a threat. I was going to continue doing the work as needed. It's
Do you know my
commercial
opinion?
confidence
Even if
and-
you were, they probably still would have because of your personality.
Well, just shake hands, part ways.
Yep.
It's good innings, and we're still absolutely working with each other tomorrow.
Yep.
That doesn't go away. You're sitting in a
It's so
different seat.
close knit, isn't it?
So day one to that, and you were there. Day one, I started.
the PD day
I was hosting one of our PD days.
in the city.
Yep. So I'd walked in a suit. I was handed a polo, said swap shirts.
And fuck all people
did,
rocked
and
up.
get up on stage. So the laptop had been posted to my house. I hadn't done anything with it. I didn't have the passwords to log in.
What was the date? Can you remember?
Oh, God, no. I'm not good
What
with
year
dates.
was it?
3.5 years ago.
Yep.
So
cool. I remember
whatever
that day,
was.
actually.
It would have been like the November one. So it would have been the back half of the year.
And it'd be dying off, right? And obviously that's changed, but it was dying off. There's big shift in CBN. It was all that stuff. You come on board. And that day would have been a hard day for you, especially the first day. But it couldn't. It only got better.
I love it. Look, it's not like I didn't know anyone in the room.
Yeah.
I think I knew everyone in the room. Get on stage, host a day. What I found out later is when I got the password to my laptop and unlocked it at about 9:30 that night with 150 unread emails. One of them included the script for the day.
Oh, so you didn't have that?
I was like, oh my God. I figured this is just how we do it. We wing it each time. But no, I had a full script.
There's a roadblock and you didn't even know about the roadblock yet.
I mean, I sure could have put a better job in. But, and was I nervous? For a little bit, but you get over it quick. You just do it.
Yep.
And that was do I get a chance to have a practice run? No, God no. Day one, get in there. You start early in the morning. This is the day.
So just touching on our previous conversation then, and how important what you just said, like that would have built resilience whether you probably think it did or not. But going back to someone that's an introvert, to being thrown in the deep end, going along the journey, CHU, and then starting a new job, and you're older, you're in your 30s, and you go and you're like, you're thrown in on the day, your email your laptop you can't log in, you haven't got your script, you don't even know that there was a script.
Yeah.
You're nervous, you get up there, you nail it, you got all people there, and it's not you just started, but you've taken the ownership of that. And I remember having the chat with you, and look where you are 3.5 years later, and all them little 1%ers,
I think we turned it around for the next one. Because the first one was, we need double the amount of people in the room. But I was going to say, to your point there, yes, but get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, 100%. I think everyone says that these days, but it's really...
But know what that means.
Yes.
Like, push yourself through. That doesn't mean give it time, space, and then
or break
quit.
yourself, or...
And don't break yourself.
Yep.
But know it, understand it.
Be nervous.
But get in there and do it anyhow.
Care. Be nervous, have butterflies, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because really, people actually appreciate that. And when you think about it like that, instead of, half empty, half full, and go, 99% of people won't get up and host a day, for starters.
Yeah.
They won't do it with no script and planning. And then, people, like when you sit in the crowd, people appreciate that you're up there giving it a go. And if you look nervous, people actually are grateful and actually will support.
It will, but take that on. Take that for next time. And look, you'll get self-conscious.
What are you building there?
Do I look right? Am I have I put on too much weight? Am I standing in front of people? Fuck, my hair looks like shit. I just came from the gym this morning. All those things are there and they're real, but do it anyhow. And then go back and analyze it. Like, did I just speak 100 miles a minute? Stop, breathe.
Yep.
It's okay to pause. It's okay to have silence.
Yep.
Sometimes it's more impactful.
Yeah, of course.
Though that little bit of analysis after, well, cool, you did it, but could you have done it better?
Yeah.
And it's I guess it's a really hard and sometimes emotional place to critique yourself like that, where you're not just picking on yourself, but actually going, well, I did that and I could improve that, and I could do that, and be that level of constructive criticism you'd be for someone else, but with yourself.
I think you absolutely nailed it. Like we talk about the resilience piece, right? So the little bit that goes into the formula of resilience, and this is in my opinion, right, is the don't care what people think. Now, our mind is our most powerful and positive, but it's also our most powerful and negative thing, right? We can make us go down the rabbit hole, make us not do it, make us not get up on stage, but if you get the right mindset. Now, what helps that get better 1% every time is throwing yourself in the deep end. The next time you do it, you're that little bit, you're like, I did it last time. So you got that little bit of history to go, fuck it, I'm going to do it again. No one cared. And then you get and I'm actually doing it now. I'm getting messages and that from the content. Do you know how much that helps me now that I'm doing it? And I got some mates going, hey, who are you fucking talking to? Who this, who that? I'm like, whatever. But then the ones are like, man, you fucking, yes, Sam, that was wicked, keep going. You went and jumped up on stage, done all that. You know everyone. At the end of the day, you done an amazing job, right? First day. Now, next time you do it, you're like, I remember talking about after, I'm like, double next time, I'm going to nail it. Like, so every time you do that, that little bit of growth gets better and better. And it's part of the formula to that resilience piece, I believe.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And you just got to do it. You got to
just do it. Nike.
100%. So
cool. So there's a couple of points I want to talk about today and moving forward. So you're with CBN. I suppose I know you do a fantastic job. You really, really connect all the brokers here and also nationally. I know you put you love working on projects, like you said, and stretching your job. Something that resonates with me and I really love and I've got a long-term relationship with now is the mentorship program that, you work closely nationally with CBN. Now, this is the stuff that you personally are passionate about because I remember talking to you about it.
100%.
CBN are fantastic on backing this stuff and it was a really, really positive outcome. I was on the first one with it.
Yep.
The same broker now, even though he's not with CBN, I still have a great relationship with. We still mentor each other. I was a mentor, he was a mentee. But it's two ways. It's not even here or here. It's like running workshops years ago. You learn off the apprentice just as well as you do the qualified, right?
It's absolutely two ways.
So me and Harry, and he's an absolute legend. Might even tag him in this. He moved on, but we learn a lot of each other, and it's a great relationship. But it comes back to you wanting to create better brokers, bounce off each other.
100%. But I also saw a huge opportunity and throw back to where I said, where you've got support around you and you can trust them and bounce ideas around. What I saw from my perspective is I saw some extremely knowledgeable and skilled people and a diverse bunch and in their own niche or in their own right. And I'm like, well, we're all friends here. Wouldn't it be wonderful if you could take away kind of any competitiveness and have that opportunity to share some of that stuff and get along, or to our chats or what we've had.
Collaborate.
We all have different businesses, but we all have the same problems, sometimes at different scale.
Yep.
So everyone's experience resonates with everyone else.
Yep.
And for me, it was no-brainer. It was, we've already got everything together. We've already got all these people. We've already got that. Well, why not just take that extra link and go, well, if I've got an expert in this, I've got an expert in that, you want to know that. Well, it's just, hey guys, have a chat. And
out of that though, and it goes back to what you said earlier, a lot of the convo is not insurance. And it's my biggest thing. I'm talking to the guys at the moment about just moving forward and hiring brokers, people skills in business. is probably over 50%. Insurance, we've got webinars, we get drummed it, right? And like you learn by doing it, right? Like most qualifications or experience. And that was one of the biggest pieces, and relationship and friendship out of it. And we can bounce off each other.
For sure.
I used to have Harry ring me about fleets because he was with a finance company, they were asset finance. And then we started talking contractuals and business structure, because they were the leg ups with the guys that he started quoting. And he's like, what extra value can I give? I go, mate, contracts, waiver subrogation, principals indemnity, the fleet, the different kind of fleet structures, valuations. So we started talking about all this shit, not the policy, and it was unbelievable.
And look, I think that's a really important way to look at everything. It's the what value can I bring, the what else.
Yeah.
Because you've got why you made it to a room,
Yep.
or why you're sitting in front of somebody having a conversation, but it's often the what else that you can run through and bring to the table that's the most value. And then particularly if you take speaking insurance or clients in general, so many times you're faced with someone asking for something, but that's not what they want.
Yep.
Because they don't understand what they want, or they don't know, or you haven't taken that journey with them yet. And they're like, I just need this.
Yep.
Well, actually, you don't. You need this and this.
Yeah. Different perspective.
Correct.
Yep.
And it's just taking that time to explore it. And look, on the mentoring piece, and if you don't mind, because you mentioned it before, I will plug it. I'm also involved in a not-for-profit, a charity. So
I do want to know about this. Give us a couple of minutes, and then I've got two more things. We'll wrap up. But yeah, fire away.
So the charity's Achievers Club.
Yep.
It mentors low socioeconomic children that are falling behind in school and stuff like that. So you get in there and you're coaching them with schoolwork, but it is more the mentoring on whatever else could be going on in their lives.
Social, mental health, family. Please,
there's a heap.
Yep. Wow, I didn't know that.
And everyone's different, and Jesus, it fills your cup.
Please tag
rewarding.
this in this, right? It's really big. I'm really big on charities and family and kids, like kids especially, right? Because like in my 30s and 40s, I work more on my childhood stuff that got us where we are.
Yep.
But it's like a lot of them don't have support and stuff like that. So yeah,
honestly, support and perspective. That's it. You watch a kid, and if you're mentoring someone and you're taking them on as a new, kind of relationship, and you're forming it, and you can see all the bits that might be a struggle, and it's not a massive breakthrough. It is support. It is consistency, and it's coming at something from a different perspective.
So just quickly on that, what's it called? Achievers Club WA?
Achievers Club, yep.
Yeah, Achievers, is it WA or national?
Achievers Club WA.
Okay, Achievers Club WA. Give me your biggest challenge in the last year and a half with it.
Recruitment for mentors. There's plug. That's our biggest challenge, sitting on the board. Where there are so many kids that need help.
How long's it been going?
It's been going for quite a while.
Yep.
You got 3 chapters, so you got Girraween, Armidale, and Butler.
Yep.
Look, our biggest challenge is there's so many kids out there that need help, and we need more mentors.
So give me, and I'm just trying to speed this up a little bit, just a couple of things. The other piece, give me the biggest heartfelt or win you've had in that time.
Look, it's every time, but it's where you see such a massive turnaround. And I was mentoring a girl, and initially the struggle, really hard to talk. I think there was bullying and other things going on, but a huge turning point was when she actually wanted to plan things together, and there was some group stuff we did where it did involve getting up, public speaking, setting, doing
How old,
things.
roughly?
Primary school age.
Yep.
And so watching someone grow, get more confident, come out of their shell, and then take an initiative and go, I actually want to plan and facilitate these things.
Wow.
Let's do it. That's something
primary
else.
School and doing that.
So like just seeing someone get it, seeing that the fact that you just switched it up and tried from a different angle, and they're like, well, that clicks, and then seeing that personal growth. That's the huge.
And I'm guessing they got the chips against them at times, right?
Well, yeah, they're not there unless the chips are against them.
Yep. So that's the point. I'm just trying to learn a bit about it. So you want to talk about risk, roadblocks, and resilience? Like this is the best bit of our podcast, to be honest. This here really hits. You got your primary school, chips are against them. Now, what are they doing? Like some of them, you're allowing them to have that safe space to open up and to give something a crack. Like we're talking before about jumping on stage, not being planned. Older, you're talking about a primary school kid that goes, I want to plan and piece this together.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing.
Like it's a big jump and it's a big challenge, but what if someone reached out to you and gave you a safer version of
Yep.
practice and trial?
Fuck yeah.
And I throw back to work. I love role play, and it's not for the little bits of drama and stuff I've done, but everyone balks at it in business or insurance.
Yep.
Oh, here's a role playing game. And I'm like, lean into this.
Yeah.
This is your safety place. You can be a dick, you can be a fool, and it's the people in your office. And
Yep.
sure, you got the
Or make
politics or
mistakes
whatever
or
there.
whatever, yeah.
But do you really want the mistake you're making to be with a live client?
Yeah.
Like this is your time to experiment with.
So is that what helps the
you tell
kids
someone.
understand really what happens? Because you don't know what you don't know, right? We say this all the
Yeah.
time. So role playing and going through a process or what the challenges are, does that help them have a little bit confidence in the real world?
It can. It's a tool.
Yep.
You know, it's something that people shy away from because that'll be embarrassing. I'm like, no, this is practice.
How many
run.
people in the group when you're discussing and doing
Well,
this
look,
stuff?
this I'm talking about more broadly
Yep.
than the mentoring itself.
Yep.
But look, yeah, there's huge amounts of students. I think it's a couple of hundred.
Yeah,
We're
wow, that's
currently
amazing,
helping.
man. So 3 divisions, Achievers Club WA. So we'll definitely do a little bit around that. That's awesome. And someone like yourself, and I bet you get a lot out of that, right? It fills your cup. Plus,
100%.
when you can put out your experience and journey.
Look, sometimes I think I'm getting more out of it. Don't tell
Yep.
the kids. But yeah, it's to genuinely help people around you, and particularly people that are
Gypsy
struggling and don't see a way out.
Yep.
It's not a lot
Yep.
of an imposition for me, and particularly if you feel like you there's a lot you see where you're like, shit, I was there, in a variety of different ways, you know, and whatever you've pushed through, I think you get to a point in your life where if you've pulled enough shit together and you're actually feeling pretty good
Yep.
that you made that journey, I think you've then got a responsibility to look back on the
Yep.
path and see if there's anyone you can give a hand to.
Yep. All right, cool. So that was a wicked segment there. So there's 2 more things. One, this is probably the main thing for yourself. What's the 2026 chapter look like for Leon? I really want to know. You're always looking for new stuff. You're always or problem solving, or you got something in the pipeline.
I do.
Yep.
I'm just trying to think what I can talk about.
Give us a nugget, something we don't know. Give us the surface of something.
Look, more extra. I think. I've definitely got ideas. I've got different plans.
What does
see
CBN
comes
approve
out.
for you? Or give us a little. Is there
No,
something?
absolutely nothing. Everything
Oh.
is confidential. But I'm always working on something, like you said.
Yeah,
so
cool.
there's definitely some things in the pipeline. That there's definitely extra things that I think we can do with our region and community. There's always something
Yep.
happening with the company. So I think to give you that taste, and you know what I can bring, if I say more plus or more
Yep.
extra or same but more,
Yep.
expect that. So
Cool.
We'll build from there.
So I know we'll talk about this after the podcast, but give me just off your gut, the takeaways from today.
Look, I really enjoyed it. I did ignore the camera and the lights mostly, and I hope. God knows
Hey, you
what I
did.
look like. Look, I think we've had some great conversations along the way, and some of this touched into things we've talked about before, and it's that crossover between your business and your personal journey, and huge amounts of resilience in that, and huge amounts of understanding.
Yep.
Because we're all just human, and we all start from somewhere, and most of the time you're just fucking around in the dark until you work it out.
Yep.
So that, I think that's going to ring true forever, and ring true with a lot of people. And then I really liked how much we jumped around.
Yep.
Like, we covered a lot of different stuff today.
Yep. It's really cool. And I try and do that. Everyone says there needs to be a flow, and there does. But when I grab something that relates, because you won't see it, I can see it. I'm like, well, that relates to when you were working for your dad as a butcher, and you piece it together. You'll go away now, and your life mind will be gone because you've just gone back over your book and all your chapters, right? Now, one thing I want to do is I want to check in 6 months later with most people that get on here if it works, right? Around
Sure.
6 months. We've been talking about this. I want to get back on, and it might be a shorter one. It might be not even in this setting. but it's like we're going to take aways from this and go, or it could be 12 months, but we're going to do that in the future. So just want to let you know. The other thing is, give me 2 people I should get on here. Ooh. CBN, non-CBN, broker, non-broker, like.
I think, look, really good question, and I don't think I've got
spit to it. Come on,
immediate.
so I'm going to tag him. I'm going to get on.
No, I feel like you're going to have to edit something back in. Look, there's so many people, and look, that mentoring piece or community or. I just saw as I walked in your building, who you've got down on the corner there. Maybe drag them in. He loves a mic.
Who's that?
Politics.
Oh, yeah.
So, look, I think.
No, I'm talking about people we know. We know a lot of similar people. Anyone? No, it doesn't have to be bigger because that's the whole point here, right? We're all human, and it's all about where we're at. So
in that case, like, really, really different. I don't have names to give. I'm also not like.
Give me a broker. Give me a broker.
No, I can't. Just name dropping and the idea. I just can't.
Okay.
But I really don't think you can go too wrong.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone has a unique experience, and it might just be uncovering it. But they don't know what they've got to bring to the table until you start kind of dusting it off a little.
No, that's
like,
right.
Actually, I did do that. It's like, well, fuck, no one else does.
Yep.
Like, tell me more.
Yep.
So I think it's just uncover. Maybe interview everyone.
Yep.
So
everyone. So on that, the 2 I got out of this, and I never really thought about them before. One I did is Fran's. We've got a really good relationship. We don't see each other much, but we always have the odd text or bounce off each other or whatnot. I do really want to get Fran on. And the other one that I've been wanting to catch up with, and I'll probably hit him up soon, and I'll probably text him before this goes out. We talked about him as John Elliott, which he's already doing podcasts and all that stuff. So hopefully he'll jump on with us because he's got a different dynamics to the insurance industry. So I'll probably tag them out of this and text them directly. But that I would have already done that. But man, thanks for jumping on. It'd be really good to check in 6 months or whatever works. Me and you, obviously, we've got meetings once a month or whatever anyway.
Yep.
Oh, just quickly, the other thing that you really helped with, and you continued why I kind of was in the background the last 2 years, is the WA broker in business. Yep. I didn't touch on that. I had it in my head before. Maybe we touch on it again short. Maybe we do a little 15-minute on it a bit later, so we don't. We've got to close this podcast out, but. That WA broker in business, I originally thought about that because I used to be part of the CEO Institute.
Yep.
And it goes back to what you say about all the brokers and the mentorship is we all have the same problems. Now, I think it's really, really good that WA brokers in business, even the WhatsApp chat and how much we bounce off each other, I'm using it more lately. I'm trying to get back in now but one thing I learned last week before when I jumped in the CBN office is it'd be really good to at least every second month get everyone in person if we can. Because you just cannot beat being in person.
Look, I think being in person is great, and without getting into the nitty gritty of business, we'd talk together and we'd seen an opportunity to take something that existed and change it and take it in a different direction and grow it. I think in person is extremely valuable, but we're also super time poor. So we just need everyone there and all those things, but we do need to keep, and like we have with guest speakers and different things, keeping it real and importantly bringing things of value to the table because that's done the job. We don't have to do anything else. We don't have to overcomplicate it.
Keep it simple.
And if you keep sense checking that, and if you keep going, well, is this bringing value to what we want as a group? And the answer is yes, or the answer says, well, that is, but that's not. And you pivot and you keep evolving. That's the job done.
Yep.
Just keep doing it. Keep asking that question and keep moving forward.
Yep. No, awesome, mate. All right, let's wrap it up.
No worries, man.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Paul.
Awesome.